Hello, this is Brian Houle. I'm a solutions consultant with Beyond 20, and today I want to talk about something very cool that I like in Cherwell Service Management called join tables. These are cool for doing many-to-many relationships, and you sort of need them if you have one business object that can be related to many other records in another business object. So there are two ways to do this. I'm going to focus on using custom join tables in Cherwell because there are some cool features that you can use, and I'll explain the difference in a minute. So here we have version 8 of Cherwell. This is the latest and greatest with this sleek new interface design that I really like. So what I want to do today is I want to be able to link a support team to problem records. And by this I mean, problems are the root causes of incidents, one or more incidents. And I want to be able to track who's involved in that root cause analysis and that resolution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a relationship between problem and customer. Why customer, you ask? Well, I'm going to assume that a lot of my support team are not going to interact with Cherwell directly. So I'm just going to go with that today. Remember, in Cherwell, we have a customer table and we have a user info table. And the user info table tracks licensed technicians, people who are actually using Cherwell to track tickets and resolve tickets. Customer tables are more people who are consuming services, but it's also useful to use the customer table when not everybody who is in IT, for instance, is necessarily a licensed user in Cherwell. So with that in mind, let's look at what we do. So the first thing I'm going to do is edit the relationships of my problem business object. And I'm going to create a new one. Here, I've already done it. New relationship called Problem Links Support Team Members. I like to keep my relationship names descriptive. In terms of a business sense of what it's doing, makes it easier in the long run rather than saying Problem Links Customer. That's not as descriptive from a business standpoint. So I'm going to click Edit and show you how I built it. So I've got my feeble description here, just to show it's a many relationship. The relationship type is link, and my number of related items is many, of course. So my child is going to be customer, and my default group member, because customer is a group object, is going to be customer internal. Now, a group object in Cherwell is really just an object that has multiple children. These are group objects are for business objects that are very, very similar, but are distinct nonetheless, and they can share fields and do all kinds of fun stuff like that. Very useful. So the customer is one of those, so that's why we have a default group member. Next, I see this reverse relationship. We'll talk about that in a bit, but reverse relationship is the relationship from customer to problem, and I want to identify that for this purpose. I'm going to go to links next, and so I use a join table. I'll click that. And under join table, I'm going to use a custom join table. Now, why? What's the difference between standard and custom? Well, if I use a standard join table, this table is in the back end. It's in SQL, and I can't really do anything with it. It's sort of away from the Cherwell interface. However, if I use a custom join table, this object actually exists in Cherwell, and I have a few more options for working with it that I'll cover in later videos. But for right now, let's just go with the fact that we're using a custom join table. And when I click New, I can enter the table name, and of course this has to be a single string, no spaces. And I usually take these defaults, and these default fields are parent ID, parent type, child ID, child type, and a join reason. And you can also have child join reason tables. So what this is doing is it's just creating a field to hold those join reasons, and we'll look at drawing those values from a table in a second. But I usually just take these defaults. So moving on, I'm going to go with custom, taking the join table that I've created, the custom one. This is problem is going to be the parent in this many-to-many relationship, so I'm going to leave this unchecked. Next, I'm checking join has reason, and there is this cool new feature that allows the system to prompt the user for a join reason after it's added or linked, which I really, really like. So I'm going to check that. The join reason I'm going to call role, because I want to know this support team member, what is their role in this problem resolution. My join reason prompt, I'm just going to say select a role, and this is what will appear in the pop-up window when the user is prompted to select a role. This can be whatever you like. Now, provide a list of values. If we don't provide a list, then the role is not validated and it becomes free text, which is good in some cases, but I want to restrict this. So I'm going to cheat, and rather than create a whole separate table, I'm just going to use the cab role table, and the field in that table is going to be role. So this is a lookup table that comes with Cherwell, and it's really for defining cab members, but for this demonstration, it'll work just fine. Next, I want to make sure auto-populate join reason for reverse relationship is checked. This is necessary for this functionality to work. And finally, we're going to use same join reason for reverse relationship. So once that's done, all the other database auditing advanced, we can leave those alone. I'm going to click OK. The only other thing we need to do is go into Object Manager and go to Customer, and then we need to create that reverse relationship. So we have a little chicken and the egg problem. Usually what I'll do is I'll create the relationship on problem, leaving the reverse relationship blank, and then I'll come back in and create the reverse relationship and then link them. So here we have our reverse relationship, customer links problem. I should probably name this support team links problem, but just for parallelism, but that's okay. So when we go to links, we're going to do the same thing. Problem links support team members, but this time, this relationship acts as a child in the join table, so we're going to check that. And I'm going to leave all this blank for now because I'm not really going to, have problems link back to from customer to problem. In other words, I'm not really concerned with going to a customer record and seeing which problem that customer is associated with as a support team member. I'm only concerned with going from problem to customer. So this will do for now. So I'll click OK. And so once I've created the, indicated the reverse relationships, I'm saving this. And then I'm going to go ahead and publish, and then let's look at it in the client. So here we are in the blue pill, or the actual desktop client for Cherwell Service Management. And I'm looking at a problem record, and I already have a support team ready to go, support team member. So I'm going to fix my typo here. Okay. And so this is what the join table allows us to do, this role. This is our join reason. And so Henri here is our project manager. And let's look at what this looks like. So what we do is we've got our add an existing customer link. We have our this allows us to set our join properties, which is pretty much that, and we can unlink a customer in the many-to-many relationships here. So I'm going to click link. So I'm going to add existing customer. So this window pops up, and I'm going to select, Tracy this time, and I click OK. And now here's our prompt. Remember, select a role. That is defined in the relationship, and these are all the items that I can select from. So I've got a project manager already. Let's see, Tracy is going to be the developer, so I'll click OK, and here she is added to this relationship as a developer, and I can keep going, and I can say, all right, well, I'm going to add Jen Schultz, HR, and I'll add her as a stakeholder, and I can keep going. So this is a very cool way to create a many-to-many relationship, and that should be BA, I think, to create a many-to-many relationship with a join reason. Now we can expand this concept by pointing, for instance, problem directly at the custom join table. Remember how I said I like to use custom join tables because I can do more with them than I can with the standard join table? Well, that's one of them. However, this will suffice for now. So if you need a quick way to create a many-to-many relationship, I recommend custom join tables with a join reason. Now, it doesn't have to be role. It could be all sorts of things. You could be associating contracts to configuration items and have a contract type describing that relationship. It's not something you'll definitely store in the database, but it does describe how the two records are related. So it's a very useful tool, and I recommend you try it out. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Cherwell videos. Thank you.